Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Paul Reed. I'm a professional photographer. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is camera equipment. Now, this isn't going to be me saying that this is the camera that you should be using or anything like that. What I want to talk about is this chasing of the next camera, the next big thing. That's just such a big failing of many photographers out there. What happens is we get a camera and it's like a honeymoon period begins, and this is the best camera that I've ever had, and you're out there shooting with it and everything's great. But before long, people tend to get tired of that equipment, especially if you're using something like of a fixed focal length. Then you can get a little bit bored of that equipment and then you want to move on to something else. Now the problem with this is that you never really get fully used to a piece of equipment. At the end of the day, as much as I love camera equipment, I really want it to work for me. And once you've nailed everything, once you know that camera inside out, the worst thing that you can do is then suddenly think, right, well actually there's this other camera that's probably going to make me even better of a photographer. It's not. If you have mastered the equipment that you've got through and through, then stick with it, because it's really just your photography that needs to improve, not the equipment. Now look, there are exceptions to this. Let's say focal length, for instance. If you've been shooting with a 50mm lens for like 3 years or something, then yeah, to get you out of a rut and to maybe just spark your creativity a bit more, sometimes just switching to another focal length for a good long length of time, mind you, not just for a week, but say switching from a 50mm lens to like a 28mm lens, that can spark creativity. But what I mean is there's no need to completely change your equipment. What you've got there is something special, because what you've done is you've learned a camera inside and out, so that that camera is then getting out of the way of the photography, so that now you can just concentrate on the images, really learn the equipment that you've already got. The reason why I purchased the Leica Q2 Monochrom was because I needed things to be simplified for me. I was struggling, especially to do with just wondering if something should be in color or something should be in monochrome. And yeah, okay, this camera was a big game changer for me as part of many other factors. And this camera did help me with my photography, and that was because the camera equipment that I was using before that, I just wasn't really bonding with it at all. I hadn't had a camera that I'd loved since the film days, so for me, you know, this camera was a good buy. But there's no way that this is getting upgraded. Well, it hasn't been upgraded in the last 3 years, but I want to keep this camera forever. So choose a camera that's going to work for you, choose a focal length that's going to work with you, stick with that focal length, and then you're going to start to see the world in that way, and you're going to know exactly what you're going to look at as soon as you raise that camera to your eye. Now here's something that people just don't think about. You need support. You really do need support from people. And I've been really lucky to have support from, you know, some great people over the years, and they're just always there, even just to let me practice taking photographs on them. They're just always there and always up for it. These are people that have always got enthusiastic about my ideas, and people that have really encouraged me. Now you can get the wrong type of support from people. I remember back in the 90s, whenever I was in a job, and everybody was saying, you're a great photographer, you're wasted here, and all that sort of stuff. Now, look, it's all good having encouragement from people and them saying you're a great photographer, but at the same time, that's not enough of a support that you need, because them people aren't going to tell you, actually, no, that picture isn't that great, I prefer that one than that one, and you should put that one out there. You need some actual, you need sort of like somebody who is in the art world, or somebody who actually loves art in order to get the right sort of advice and support. And like I say, I've had that along the way, and I'm really thankful for that. You know, you could leave a job and then just go out and think, well, you know, everybody said I'm a great photographer, so I should be successful at this. Not necessarily, you know. I mean, I know the most talented of people who aren't successful at what they do, and that can just be the fact that they just haven't got the right advice and the right kind of support. That was the main reason why I started doing a mentorship program, and it really is so that photographers who just have nobody to talk to, they've got no real real support, no criticism of their work that they know isn't criticism through jealousy, some real proper support along the way, somebody that's going to get excited about their work. And that's why I'm a mentor for a lot of people, because they need that support in order for them to grow as photographers. So you don't have to do it all alone. You can do it alone, but it's good just to have that support from friends and then from people who are going to give you constructive criticism. You need those people to bounce all your ideas off, and so that they'll get excited, you'll get excited, and then you'll go out and shoot better photography. So there you have it. I hope you haven't minded me babbling on today about all of this. I've made some really stupid mistakes in the past, way back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and I just want to make sure that other people don't make the same mistakes as me sometimes. All of those bits of advice I've given you, probably bits of advice that I was never given and I never followed at the time, so it's better to learn from other people's mistakes, my mistakes, rather than your own. So as usual, I'll leave a link in the description to my workshops and that mentorship program I spoke about. I'd love to help you out. Please do the usual, like, subscribe, comment, all of that sort of thing, and I'll see you next time.